every week, like you were just referencing there before I came on. They're grading you. And now you go as a first-year quarterback, you barely know shit, and now everyone's telling you suck, and it takes a while to regain your confidence. You lose your whole fan base, and it's really unfortunate. But that's very much the state of the league. And I think we've dumbed down the game in so many ways to allow for a lesser caliber developed player to get in there and lead an organization.
Tom Brady opens fire on the system. He's not pointing the finger at Shadur Sanders. He's pointing it at Cleveland. A rookie quarterback doesn't even know the full playbook, yet before he can breathe, PFF grades him like a 10-year vet. The Browns let this happen. Instead of building him up, they stripped confidence from the start. That's not development, that's sabotage. Every week, Shadur Sanders doesn't just play a game, he's graded like a math test. PFF breaks down every throw, every read, every snap. And if you're a rookie, forget the honeymoon phase. You're judged like a 10-year vet. One mistake, and suddenly you suck. That's the league now. Confidence isn't built, it's stripped. Fan bases flip overnight. Media labels stick faster than tape on a helmet. And let's be honest, hasn't the NFL dumbed down the process? They don't develop quarterbacks anymore. They throw them in the fire, expect miracles, then toss them aside when the flames get too hot. Before we keep going, smash that like button and subscribe, because if you love Shadur Sanders or just respect the grind, drop an SS 100% in the comments right now. But here's the twist. Cleveland has the antidote sitting right there on the bench. Shadur Sanders. The kid built for pressure, the one who doesn't just survive scrutiny, he thrives on it. While others fold under PFF grades and media noise, Shedeur feeds off it. So ask yourself this. Do the Browns want another recycled stopgap, or do they want a leader? Do they want another season of excuses, or do they want the guy fans already believe in? Because if the game is dumbed down, then maybe it's time to bring in the one quarterback smart enough and tough enough to rise above it. And his name is Shadur Sanders.
Is that fair? I know it sounds kind of harsh, but Thanksgiving, year 2, I believe quarterbacks, if the operations aren't there, he's not the guy. Is that too soon?
Yeah, but I would argue this. You're assuming that everybody knows how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, this is not, there's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense.
This is the bombshell. Tom Brady flat out says what fans have been screaming. Coaches can fail upwards, while players get destroyed in the media. How do you tell America Shedeur isn't on Flacco's level if you never let him run with the starters? Brady calls out the double standard. Shedeur gets dissected for every throw, while Stefanski and his staff skate free. That hypocrisy is the real scandal. Thanksgiving, year 2. That's the cutoff everyone talks about. If the quarterback isn't rolling by then, he's not the guy. Sounds fair, right? But here's the real problem. You're assuming the coaches actually know how to develop a quarterback. And I'm telling you, half the time they don't. There are coordinators calling plays with no vision, quarterback coaches who can't teach mechanics, head coaches recycling the same dusty schemes. And then the blame falls on the rookie. The grades slam him. The media buries him. The fans turn. But is it really the player? Or is it the system around him that failed? That's the insanity of this league. And if Cleveland doesn't figure it out with Shadur Sanders, they won't just waste a quarterback. They'll waste their future. Drop an SS 100 in the comments if you believe coaching matters as much as talent. Tom Brady lit the match. He told the world exactly what's wrong in Cleveland. Shadur Sanders wasn't set up to succeed. He was set up to fail. A rookie barely learning the system, yet graded like a 10-year vet. Booed by the same fan base that never saw him with the starters. That's not football. That's a rigged experiment. Brady's words cut deep. Players like Shedeur are scrutinized every second, while coaches who don't even know how to develop quarterbacks skate by without consequence. They claim he's not ready, but how can you be ready when you never get the reps? That's the scandal. That's the sabotage. And Stephen A. made it clear, this isn't just bad coaching, it's a setup. 11 practices with the third unit, no first team reps, and suddenly Shedeur is shoved into the fire? That's not development, that's entrapment. Louis Riddick took the knife and twisted it. Shedeur doesn't even have an advocate inside the building. No one stood up for him in the draft room. No one is protecting his name now. And then Haslam, the owner himself, admits he had no clue about signing Shedeur. That's the confirmation. The Browns didn't just mishandle him, they never wanted him. This is bigger than football. This is politics. This is sabotage dressed up as development. And the only question left? How long before Shadur Sanders escapes this trap? His cut's even deeper. If nobody in Cleveland stood on the table for Shadur Sanders, then he was never wanted. Drafted without a champion, buried without protection. Riddick exposes the politics. Shedeur is fighting not just for snaps, but for survival in an organization that doesn't even claim him. And when Jimmy Haslam admits he had no idea about signing Shedeur, that's not bad management. That's betrayal. Stephen A. doesn't mince words. He says it's not incompetence, it's a setup. 11 practices, all with third stringers, and suddenly Shedeur is thrown to the wolves with no chemistry, no timing, no rhythm. That's not an opportunity, that's a trap. And Stephen A. says Cleveland knew exactly what they were doing. Tom Brady lit the fuse. Stephen A. Smith threw gasoline. Louis Riddick fanned the flames. And now, the fire is spreading. The Browns are losing games with Joe Flacco, but the front office says no change is coming. That's not confidence, that's stubbornness, a refusal to admit the obvious. Then we learn Shadur Sanders rejected the Ravens. He could have been Lamar's backup. He could have been part of Baltimore's dynasty, but he wanted his own legacy. He wanted belief. Instead, he landed in Cleveland, a franchise that drafted him without fighting for him and now buries him without shame. And here's the kicker. Shedeur doesn't even need the field to win. He's 5th in jersey sales across the NFL. 5th. America already crowned him. He's a cultural phenomenon, a movement, a market force. But Cleveland looks the other way. And while Cleveland pretends Shedeur doesn't exist, the rest of the league is circling like sharks in the water. Joe Burrow goes down in Cincinnati, and suddenly the Bengals, one of Cleveland's fiercest rivals, are whispering Shedeur's name. Think about that. The quarterback Cleveland refuses to unleash could become the very weapon used to bury them twice a year. Picture the scene, a packed Paycor Stadium on a cold December night, Shadur Sanders jogging out of the tunnel in Bengals stripes, the crowd roaring his name. And across the field, the Cleveland Browns, the team that drafted him, ignored him, buried him, watching as he carves them up throw by throw, touchdown by touchdown. Every completion, every celebration, every win would be a reminder of the dynasty they could have had, a reminder of the future they threw away. Because this isn't just football anymore. This is betrayal dressed up as strategy. This is business politics masquerading as development. This is sabotage in broad daylight, and the league knows it. And here's the real kicker. Jerry Jones is watching too. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, are monitoring the chaos in Cleveland. Jones has built empires off star quarterbacks, and he knows the math of Shadur Sanders. He sees the jersey sales, he sees the ratings, he sees the cultural impact. If Sanders hits the trade block, Dallas will be waiting with open arms and open checkbooks. Drop your thoughts below. Is Shedeur being sabotaged, or is this just tough love? And if you believe in Shedeur, if you respect his fight against the system, hit that like button, subscribe, and flood the comments with SS 100%, so Cleveland knows the people are watching.